Hey everyone! Today we are gonna go through homeschool curriculum. I'm gonna show you what we're using based on our grades and specifically what I really like and appreciate about each one. Come on with me as I take you through a flip through so that you can get a better idea of what we're doing and why. This was requested by another dear mother. I hope this will be a blessing for you. I'll see you soon. Hey, I'm Monique, a pediatrician turned homeschool mom and keeper of my home. Here, I love to share family, health, home, and sustainability tips that will help to provide us with the skills and know-how that we all need to uplift and equip ourselves. The more we know, the more we will be more sustainable. Alright, so we are going to be starting with our early elementary and early reader curriculum. So the curriculum that I choose is very, very simple. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. It's straight to the point of the learning that I want at the level we're at. As you can see, we are reading and learning to read with the original McGuffey reader. This is the eclectic primer. The images are very, very simple. As you can see, this book was written in the 1800s by William McGuffey. He was a believer in God, and he actually had an opportunity to start teaching on his own in his teens. He has quite a history. I actually went onto Pinterest, selected the things I wanted, which were free, printed them out, bound my printouts together, and made a nice laminated back and front to make my little learner's book. So as you can see, we go through the alphabets, onwards, consonant, vowel, consonants, and further. Now we're at our arithmetic or math curriculum. I wanted to go ahead and show you some very, very helpful points that are in this book. This book is also an oldie but goodie, and I downloaded it as well for free and bound it. I also wanted you to take a note of this quote. A child's attainments in number work should not be measured merely by his power to manipulate abstract figures. In fact, early skill in juggling numbers without adequate concepts back of them may seriously impede a child's future progress in arithmetic. This statement is so profound and true. It is so important to build that strong foundation before working on the more difficult. Another quote, in order to ensure such a foundation, the work in this book is based upon the familiar experiences and activities of childhood, and follows as closely as possible the child's own method of acquiring new knowledge and skill. Each topic is developed concretely in connection with some interest of children. The new facts are then established through games and exercises, and finally, power and independence in the use of number facts are acquired through a variety of applications to common situations in the lives of children. Every step is made as interesting as possible, but no time is wasted in mere entertainment. There is definite progress from day to day in the understanding of number facts and in the mastery of the simple number combinations and processes. This is amazing. Many of the math curricula that we have out there today do not acknowledge the importance of learning naturally through our environment and our experiences. This is such a jewel out of history. I also added extra pages also from Pinterest that I wanted my learner to have. I did it this way so that he would have a variety of things to help mix the learning up, so that it wouldn't just be the same old things for him. This way you can make it fresh. The math in this book is also very, very simple. The illustrations are beautiful, and the information is really supreme. Of note, I wanted to let you know that in homeschool, the wonderful thing is that your grade level is not necessarily a specific or constant thing. It's dynamic. So the materials that I'm using are sometimes even above the quote specific grade level of my student. But the beauty of homeschool is that you can go up and you can go down. So as we continue through the book, you'll see it goes through addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, telling time, grouping together, and even learning some simple and practical math facts along the way. So by the time we are finished, we will honestly be above grade level, but we will have had a nice foundation. And as I showed you earlier in that little clip, it talks about how we want to learn practically. I'm pointing out here that many of the lessons you can do even orally. It doesn't only have to be written. And this was something that they actually encouraged in the book. This is just a simple math manipulative that's fun to have around. It's just a pop-up tool that you can use to practice your numbers 1 to 100. This clock is also a nice find to have because it will help your student learn to tell time and both hands move around. Here we are with our middle elementary curriculum. I've also chosen to use a McGuffey's book. This one is for the second reader. As you can see, it's definitely more complex. There are very rich stories. There is vocabulary. There are even some questions to stimulate thought. It is very well written and really nice to have as a part of the curriculum. There are also beautiful illustrations throughout the book, simple and well-written lessons that bring you very rich and detailed information that then lead you into the learning of new concepts and vocabulary. We're also doing gentle grammar, and I will link where we obtained it from. This is actually a product from Mom Delights. She used one of these wonderful books of old and made it into a usable form that anyone can use and download for free. I have also added some additional pages just to add and specify it for my particular students, so that it would be arranged in a way that works best for us. That's the beauty of being able to tailor your own homeschool for the way that works best for you. The curriculum is an adaptation from New Language Exercises from C.C. Long, also made in the 1800s. I'm also going to show you some clips of our Harvey's elementary grammar and composition that I also added to our language arts curriculum. We've just started it, so I can let you know how it goes in another video. But so far, here's a few snapshots of some of the pages. Beautiful illustrations, also written in the 1800s. It has sentence diagramming, all the elements of your common language arts curriculum that you want to convey, but it is done in simple, short lessons that are easy to teach and follow so far. Now we're at our math curriculum. We are using Saxon math. Again, the grade level is so dynamic, because in some areas there are higher levels of understanding and in some that may need further review. So this has been a nice mix for us, and it's nice that it comes with the two levels on the book. If you noticed on the front cover, it says 5th and 4th. So it can be used for the average student and then for one at a higher level. We like it because it is very well laid out. It has predictability to it in that you know you're going to be doing some math facts always in the beginning. You're going to be reviewing material that you have already learned so that it remains fresh. And then you're going to be adding new problems, and they even have a mixed practice section that allows you to have that combination of materials so that you're not forgetting what you've learned. Now we're in our junior high school curriculum. I'm also using the McGuffey's series for my junior high school student. However, there are some things in the book that are a little bit strong. So what I do is I read the select stories, and then we will go over the vocabulary that is associated with the particular lesson and story that we have read through. In this way, I can still really enjoy the rich stories that are there and select out those that are fine but may not be good at the moment in time for my particular age group. This is where the discernment comes that is so important for us as homeschool moms. You want to make sure you're looking through your curriculum and having a good understanding of what is going to be discussed and what your student will be exposed to. It is so important to protect our children's minds and to give them the information that they need at the time they need it. It may be very good to know, but the timing is what matters. It may not be the best time. So as you can see in this book, the information is definitely at a higher level, and of note, you can actually break up the books into actually 1 to 2 years, depending on how fast or slow you'd like to take it. We're also using gentle grammar for a part of our language arts curriculum, and as I have tailored my middle school curriculum or early middle school curriculum, I've tailored this as well. We're using this as a foundation just for the earlier parts of the term, and because of that, I have added and bulked it up a little bit more with more pages from the same book that was used and where it was adapted from. I've added a few more questions and details as well in the edits that I did for my particular student. Here we have our Harvey's Elementary Grammar again, and this one can be used for several grade levels. So I have taken the opportunity to go ahead and teach both of my upper grade level students with the same. And so far, as I mentioned before, it's been going pretty well. We're using Saxon math again for our junior high level, and it has honestly been wonderful, if I hadn't mentioned before, for both students using it. They really enjoy it, and it really does break down the problems with very easy to understand explanations. It really is a useful tool for the teacher, and it is also useful to be done independently. Now, I know it is instructed that the students must do each and every single question, but I have found that it is better to target the questions, because you do get those mixed practice problems that give you a review. So I find it to be better to target the questions that you use and then review for the areas that you may need that extra time in dealing with. And that way, the student won't necessarily feel the burnout that may come. I use this graph paper for math so that math problems are made much more neater and simpler. Here we are with our family curriculum, that wonderful set of books that you can use for all age levels and really take a deep dive and investigation in topics and questions that come up. There is history, there is science, and geography. Alfred's English has been very interesting so far. Again, always make sure as you're going through the books that you're tailoring it according to the age group, because there are some things that may be strong. So far, this is what I do with that particular book. I do enjoy using the Rod and Staff history and science textbooks, and what I do is I use the teacher's guide, which has a sample of the students' pages as well as the teacher's directive notes. That has been so very useful. I enjoy the lessons, and they often stir up many interesting questions as we go along. It is written from a biblical perspective of history and timeline of an early earth, so I do appreciate the fact that it takes that stance. It does always try to incorporate those biblical facts, and I think it is so important to have that foundation in history before even learning all the other particulars in history, especially when learning about our own American history. It is so good to touch base upon where and how it all began. Our geography curriculum has also been pretty useful so far. It is simple in the lessons. It takes you through some of the historical aspects of the geographical region, which I found to be a pretty nice addition as well. It comes with a teacher's guide, which also gives you insight into the student pages, and it comes with pages that you can print out and use as a testing tool if you like, or just a review and sharpening tool of the regions that you have studied. So far we are early in its use, but it has been a great tool at this point. In addition, I have also downloaded and printed some useful maps that I found online. If you can find colorful maps that you can then laminate, it does add another layer of help to your students' day. This is our science text, also from Rod and Staff, similar to history. I use the teacher's guide, and what I do is we go through the lesson, and then my students will use their own separate notebooks to give some details about important points they have learned, and also draw and diagram important concepts. In this way, we are all working together on important topics and things that we really want to have solidified in our minds, and it doesn't give you that heavy or weighted down feel of using a large science text. In this way, we are really narrowing down and nailing down important concepts that we have learned. And there we are. This is what we use as the main backbone for our curriculum for this year. If you have any curriculum that you enjoy and would like to share, please do let us know as well. I hope this has been a help for you, and as always, do the best you can to live sustainable, and I will see you in the next video. Be well.